So I grew up in Newport Beach, California, and I remember when I was 4, the police helicopters would be flying overhead at night, and their strobe lights or spotlights would shine through the backyard. I remember being scared about that. That was one of the first memories I had. But normally I was a very outgoing kid, loved to laugh, loved to play games, and very, very innocent. My parents sheltered me very well, but I was also incredibly sensitive. And when I was 5, close to 5, around the same time as the strobe lights in the backyard, actually I was afraid to go to the bathroom at night. And I don't really remember why that was an issue. Maybe I was scared of monsters under the bed or something, but I remember being torn because I knew the right thing to do would be to go to the bathroom, and the bad thing to do would be to wet the bed. And I remember having a lot of guilt because I just let loose and wet the bed instead of getting up. So that was probably the first memory of shame. And from then on, I kind of realized that I had, problems with bathroom, holding the bathroom, so to speak. And I used to wet myself. And I remember sometimes I would wet myself at school. And, but we'll get to that in a minute. When I was 5, my parents and my dad and I were going to our sailboat in San Pedro. We were gonna go sailing or something, and I had to stop and pee, and so we stopped on the side of the road, and he got out with me, and we were peeing alongside of each other, and he saw that I was looking at some fiberglass, because we were in the boatyard and they use a lot of fiberglass to build boats and stuff, and he knew that, if you touch fiberglass, you can itch for a long time. And so he was like, he saw me looking at it and he was like, don't you touch that. And so what did I do as a curious young boy? After I got done peeing, I went over and I touched it. And he just grabbed my arm and he just flailed me around like a rag doll as he spanked me super hard. And I'd never felt anything like that before, and I remember being kind of shocked. And I don't know if I made this up or not over the years, but I remember getting back into the car and looking at the back of his head in the car and saying to myself that I was going to pay him back no matter what it took, or that I felt like he wasn't really my safe surrogate anymore, my safe father, my safe dad. And so over the years, that little boy he loved to play and laugh kind of got knocked down because of his hypersensitivity. And so I remember when I was 8 years old, I started to rock back and forth as we watched TV, my family and I. And it gave me relief. It was self-soothing. They call it stimming because you're self-stimulating to try to soothe yourself. And at the same time, I was also starting to, touch myself because I wanted to feel good. And you know how a lot of Christians say that you're a born sinner? Well, I believe that's true because I had an urge to touch myself even when I was 8 years old because I knew that it gave me relief. Now, I didn't go all the way, nothing happened, but I was drawn to trying to stimulate myself from a very young age. So back to the bathroom problems. The first really embarrassing thing that happened to me in school was some kids, these older kids, knocked on my bathroom stall and busted in, and I was going to the bathroom, and they saw a yellow stain on my underwear. And they started laughing. They're like, ha ha, you wet yourself, you pee your pants. So that was kind of traumatic. I was already embarrassed about the whole situation, that I wet myself. And I realized that I've done some research on it, and a lot of people that had really abusive parents also have bathroom issues. And so I just didn't feel safe, I guess. And I would try to make light of it and play as a young boy. Maybe I would forget about it temporarily, that, you know, my dad had a huge temper problem. My mom didn't want to stick up for me. And, you know, she'd always side with him. And so when I was 12, I was like, all right, I loved music. And that's the Asperger's in me. And music was my ultimate life. It was my escape. It was my backdrop to my imagination that I would let run wild. And I listened to music while I rocked back and forth. And it was, you know, it was a great pairing, because I could just think and I could imagine things. I could stare out the window and just rock and listen to music. And so when I was 12, I discovered hard rock, and it was awesome, because I would imagine getting the bullies back in school. I started listening to really dark music, and luckily I didn't know what the lyrics meant. I mean, some of it was pretty dark, but I had always imagined getting the bullies back and getting the girl, you know, kind of fantasies like that. And so I remember just kind of like being by myself growing up and listening to music and rocking and riding my bicycle in circles in the driveway for hours at a time. And I could just play with myself and imagine things. But I knew at that point, at a very early age, that I was insecure. My low self-esteem was starting to take over. That little playful boy wasn't coming out as much. And I realized that I wanted to get my dad back for hurting me. And that type of MO carried over to everyone. I wanted to get back the bullies. Then when I got older and had girlfriends that were mean to me, I wanted to get them back. And so I just, my whole life was based on feeling bad about how life was, how people were to me. But deep down, I was super sensitive, and I had a big heart. And I learned the biggest weapon I had against people, later I found out through therapy, was withholding love. That was my number one weapon. But in the end, that weapon turned against me because there was no one in my life anymore. I withheld love so much that I didn't have any friends left. My family, I moved away from my family. So there was really no one I could seek revenge on. Then I started to look at myself. I was like, all right, why are you running? You know, why do you have so much shame and guilt? And I looked back, and, you know, I counted at least 8 addictions that I had over the years. And I got addicted to everything because, back to that 8-year-old boy, I wanted to self-soothe. I needed coping mechanisms because I was highly sensitive. And a lot of people with Asperger's feel the same way. And it wasn't until last year that I self-diagnosed myself with Asperger's and autism. And it all made sense. But, you know, that's kind of like 40 years too late. I'm not complaining. I'm just saying that I was 47 when I discovered Asperger's and autism. So back to the addictions. I consider music an addiction because I used to turn it up really loud until my ears were ringing, and certain songs would do certain things to my body. You know, you've all gotten goosebumps from songs and cried tears of joy or tears of sadness from songs. Music is very powerful. So the rocking was an addiction. That was 8. And then music when I was 12. And then 17, I discovered alcohol. And that was like game over, because it was magical. The first drink that hit my mouth, I could feel it course through my bloodstream, and I felt like I was immortal. And 17 years of stress and anxiety just fell away with that first drink of alcohol, and I knew I found my magic potion. So 17 was alcohol, and it was girls, and it was cigarettes, and it was coffee. So I just added 4 things basically in 1 year. So I'm up to like 6 addictions now, because I was addicted to everything. You know, I couldn't get my hands on girls, but I could, you know, fantasize about them. And I basically was addicted to everything, or wanted to be addicted, because I wanted to escape that insecure little boy who was scared. I didn't want to be scared anymore. And I wanted to feel good. I wanted to feel alive. And I think alcohol and music were the closest things to making me feel alive. But it was kind of an illusion, because those addictions eventually stripped away all those good feelings. It got to the point where I was getting drunk every day, and it wasn't making me feel good anymore. It depleted my dopamine. It took away my life even more. So all of these things have subtracted from my virtue, my life force. All the addictions, all the running, all the revenge, nothing fruitful came out of it. And it's taken me 47 years to figure it all out. And that's why I'm doing these videos and articles, is to create something with my life that, you know, if I could help one person, you know, quit addictions or quit stimming, I would be, you know, through the roof. I would be so happy. And this is my mission in life. And I'm talking about all this stuff because I want to just get super real with you, and I want to get in alignment with why I'm here. I used to work from home. I used to I had a couple home businesses, and they weren't in alignment. This is truly in alignment. Just being here with you guys, being real, being vulnerable, you know? I mean, I walk around with this crap every single day, and I'm trying to become a man, and it's, you know, I just quit rocking. 24 days ago, I quit rocking on the 1st of January after 40 years. And my home business was declining. And I was like, God, what am I supposed to do with my life? I mean, my home business is crumbling. It was a network marketing business that lasted for a couple of years. Had maybe one really good year with it. And God said, if you want to do something big, now is your chance. If you quit your rocking, it's a 40-year addiction. If you quit your rocking and start sharing your testimony with people and create this new brand, that will be your gift to humanity. Because as an addict, as an alcoholic, we can be very self-centered, because we're in fight or flight. So it's all about me. And you add Asperger's on top of that, it's the most self-absorbed type of person imaginable. So if I go into a crowded room, I'm not thinking about meeting people. I'm not excited about meeting people. The only thing I'm thinking about is, oh my gosh, how am I gonna talk? How am I gonna look? They're gonna know I'm different. They're gonna think I'm weird. Because weird is a bad word for me. I had a girlfriend say I was weird one time, and I cried. Like, it really got to me, because I guess my whole life I've been wanting to fit in. So the W word is probably one of the worst words that you can throw at me. And not anymore. I'm just saying, you know, a couple years ago. Now I'm doing the work. I'm doing spiritual work. I'm grounding myself, and I actually feel like a grown-up now. Within just 24 days of sitting still and grounding and doing meditation and chakra work, I do feel 48 now. But when I was rocking 14 hours a day just a month ago, I felt like I was, you know, 15, 20 maybe. Completely stunted, mentally stunted. And I was just playing that old program over and over. You know, when I was rocking, I was basically playing a program, an old program that I created when I was 8 years old. I started rocking when I was 8. So of course, when I'm 47, after 46,000 hours of rocking, I calculated, I'm going to be playing that old program. So if you want to create a new program and get out of addictions and stimming, you have to basically uproot everything you do. Change your background, change your environment, change your friends, change your job. If you're an alcoholic addict like me, you might even have to change towns. We moved across America because my small town that I was a drunk in, I was the town drunk. I have some really bad memories there. So don't fool yourself. This is life or death. If you want to change your program, you got to change your whole reality. Start reading new things. Turn off the TV. You can't listen to the same old music. You know, if you listen to old music from your drinking days, guess what? You know, you're going to start going down memory lane. You're going to think of the good times that you got drunk, and you're going to go, you know what? Those were good times. Let's just go get a 6-pack for old time's sake. It's very sneaky, guys. The addict inside of you is just waiting to unleash again. And every time you relapse, or every time you go out and drink, or do whatever, it's going to beat you down. You're going to have more guilt and shame, and it just compounds on top of each other. I had so much guilt and shame. This is the first month I don't have any guilt and shame. If you want to feel good about yourself, quit all the stuff that's making you feel guilty and shameful. That's number one. I want to be blameless. They use that word a lot in the Bible, blameless, and I love that. Because when my dad spanked me super hard when I was 5, I instantly felt like I wasn't good anymore. I felt like a bad apple. I felt like he didn't want me, you know? And I know a lot of people feel that way about their dads. They don't feel loved. I worked for a couple who were caring for their dad who became elderly, and he was handicapped, and he lived with them. And that daughter and that son, caregiving for him, they tried so hard to please him. I could see it. You could see the dynamic playing out. And they were just waiting for him to say, you know what, I'm proud of you guys, or I love you. You know, the daughter was just starving for him to say, I love you. I could feel it. I mean, it was unspoken. It was so bad. It was so thick in the air. It was a family dynamic that's been going on for 40 years. And she never got him to say, I love you, or I'm proud of you. And there's a lot of dads that can't say that. They can't say, I love you, or I'm proud of you. You know? What's the big deal? You call yourself a man? You call yourself a man, but you can't even say 3 words? I love you? Come on, you're a pussy. And there's a lot of guys out there like that. They're like, especially the older generations, they're like, to be a man, you don't show any emotion. It's like, no, that's not a man, that's a coward. A true man is one that can cry and laugh and goof out, geek out. I am still waiting for the day that I can just geek out again and laugh, you know, laugh silly, you know, because I mean, in high school I was trying to be cool. And what's cool mean for most people? Basically suppressing, you know, emotions. You gotta be cool, man. You know, don't laugh right now. You gotta be cool. It's like, that's the most stupidest thing I've ever heard, you know, to be cool. I tried being cool when I was in 3rd grade around girls, and what did that mean to me? It meant not really showing my personality. I was trying to be James Dean or something. I was like, just be cool. And that meant, you know, that meant don't laugh. That meant don't be goofy. That meant don't raise your voice, because they might think you're, you know, strange. You know, you might have a different orientation than other boys if you raise your voice. You gotta keep it steady. And that's such BS. Today I want to feel alive. And you know, I'm not waiting until I'm 80 to re-experience, you know, second childhood. You know, they say that senile people are like children. It's like, so what? I want to feel like a child now. I mean, I want to be a grown-up. I want to be grounded and feel like a man. But I also want to let loose and feel like a kid. Like, I want to be able to skip down this road right now. And yeah, people might be like, that guy's insane, he's skipping. But I want to feel that youth. I want to feel the youth that I squashed when I was, you know, 8, when I started rocking. So I really think that 8-year-old is coming out right now, because I'm not rocking anymore. I'm not running. There's no addictions, and I'm blameless. If I died right now, God would probably be like, you know, you turned your life around. I'm proud of you. Instead of going to the gates and being like, oh my gosh, I haven't repented. I'm still fapping and stimming and eating sugar and thinking about girls and who knows what. I don't want all that junk. When is enough enough? Addiction is the biggest lie ever. The demon of addiction says, just one more night, you know? Or you can get sober tomorrow. And it's the biggest lie ever. Or just one 6-pack. You know? People just lie to themselves. But the addictions lie more than the people. And it's a shame. So, I hope you have tolerated my rambling. I'm just feeling life out, you know? Seeing what I want to do next. And I want to be giddy. I want to feel alive. That's my #1 goal, is to feel alive and to create memories. I don't want money anymore. I want just enough money to create memories. And instead of isolating and trying to get people back, I want to just hang out with people. You know, what's so wrong with hanging out with people? That's what this whole world should be about. But we get into this rat race. There were so many years that I ignored people because I was like, oh, I gotta go home and work. I gotta create a blog post. I have to create content, because I was trying to grow my home business, generate more leads. It's like, stop running, man. You don't have to write 5 articles a day. Just relax. Hang out with people. Even in my teens or my early 20s, when I started to become an alcoholic, you know, I would get in a circle and they would be passing a pipe around. And right after I would get, you know, altered, I'd be like, see you guys. And I'd jump on my bicycle and I'd be out of there. I'd never hung out with people. The only people I hung out with were girlfriends. Just one-on-one. It was never in groups. In fact, the last 30 years that I've been with, you know, a girlfriend, I think we have never gone out to dinner as a couple with another couple. What normal people do. I have never been out to dinner with another couple and my girlfriend. That's how isolated I was, and that's how scared I was of people. So I ain't playing anymore. I want to get back into humanity. I'm tired of, you know, being separated. The devil is the one who wants to isolate us. You can see that all over right now. You know, stay apart, stay 6 feet apart. You really think that's about what they say it's about? Yeah, right. No, it's to disconnect us. And I've done plenty of disconnecting on my own. I don't need someone else now to tell me to do that. I want memories, and I want to create memories with people. And I want memories over money. I want just enough money to create memories. You know, that could be traveling to South America or going to a retreat or moving to a different state or joining a gym or going out to, you know, a restaurant. You know, you need a little money to create memories, but sometimes you don't. You could probably go hiking without money. You still need gas to get to the campground. You still need money to get into the state parks. But you don't need millions of dollars. And that's my final answer. I love you guys. Leave a comment if you're still struggling with anything, and I'll see if we can create a dialogue. Hit that subscribe button, guys. We'll talk to you soon.